Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So I'm out here today with the 2015 StarCraft. We still have it. It's not been used for a little bit, and as you guys can kind of see, it's got a couple of issues, and they're actually kind of major, unfortunately. We've I'll point to it. A tree fell on this side over here during a storm. And upon inspection, it didn't look too bad. Unfortunately, as time went on, it did do some damage. So we do have some water damage on this side of the unit. So for now, we've got it covered up. And then on the back side there, now that's not going to be from the tree. That's going to be due to a seam that failed on us. And we didn't catch that one. We thought we did. We sealed the window. Well, I guess I can show you here. We sealed it. We thought we got it, and unfortunately, we fixed some of the damage on it. I'm not gonna tear into it with you guys. It's not the intent of today's video, but we went in here and we sealed this. You can kind of see it's got a nice silicone. Fortunately, water's still getting in, and we're not actually. I'm not even entirely sure where it's getting in at. We even sealed. Sorry guys, the zoom here. You can see we sealed this as well, and that's doing really great actually. But unfortunately, it is not to fix. It's still leaking. So got some issues on this whole back corner, about halfway up. It's gonna have to be fixed, but again, that wasn't the intention of today's video. So to kind of give you a little background of my vehicles, so my very first truck was a 1992 Ford Ranger, and hopefully I'll have a picture of that on the screen for you. And that was my first truck. It was actually my grandfather's, and he passed away in 2005. And that truck sat for a few years until I was able to get into it. Actually, I think it sat before that. My grandmother, just getting out of the sun, my grandmother, about the same exact time, had Alzheimer's, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And so that truck sat for a few years. In 2007, the later part 2007, I was getting into driving more and more, and I believe we had the truck was signed over to me. The title was signed over to my name, and we slowly started to get it back on the road. You know, it needed new tires, it needed exhausted, rotted out on it. Due to it sitting and not being ran, the transmission had a leak, the seals and stuff. If you ever have vehicles sitting, you have to make sure you run through and at least put it in gears, fire it up. So I had that issue, and actually I had that issue pretty much the entire time I had it. And then from there I got my parents had several vehicles. The truck was my official, and I ended up driving. Secondary was a 2001 Chevy Blazer, two-door, two-wheel drive. My parents had picked that up. It actually had a salvage title. They picked up from a buy here, pay here. And so I got to drive it as a secondary vehicle when my truck would break down. It was constantly in the shop. But I really loved that truck, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything. And then when my Blazer, I think my parents had a time that they needed to use the Blazer, I would drive a 1997 Ford Taurus, four-door. And that thing was the bubble top looking vehicle. It was awesome. It wasn't the dual overhead cam one. It was just a regular, I think 3.0 V6. But I loved that car. That thing would get up and go. And so that's what I had in North Carolina. And actually, you guys will see that the light setup I had in that from the volunteer fire department I ran with. I actually have a video of that posted. on my that's one of my earliest videos, actually. That and the 1992 Ford Ranger, that little homemade setup I had made. So fast forward, I moved to Florida. I sold that Ranger and got pretty much stayed inside. My parents at that point got another vehicle, so I got the Chevy Blazer, took over payments for my parents, paid that unit off, drove that for a few years, and I was just tired. I was just absolutely tired. My buddy had gotten a couple of pickup trucks at the time, and I said, man, I just really miss a truck. So in 2010, I said, nope, I'm done. I'm getting into a truck. So that's when I picked up a 2007 Ford F-150 Super Cab. You guys should also see a picture of that as well. I'll try to put pictures up on the screen for you so you guys can see what my vehicles were. Pretty cool story. So, and I drove that all the way up until literally had, I want to say, 2 payments left. It possibly could have been 3, but for the sake of the story, 2 payments left. Unfortunately, I had the 5.4 V8 in it, and from the day I got it, that truck had this weird, I called it diesel mode. That truck would, if you got off a highway and got into like a parking lot, it just went into this diesel mode. The truck would start knocking and running rough, and the whole truck would shake. So I'd pop it in neutral and rev it up, you know, a couple thousand RPMs, and it would settle back down. And like I said, I had that truck for pretty much 5 years. I had 1 or 2 payments left, and took it to a dealer. None of the mom and pop shops wanted to touch it. So I took it to a mom and pop place, or excuse me, the mom and pop place didn't want to touch it. So I had to take it to a dealer, and it was going to cost right around, let's see, I want to say $1,200 for a tune-up. That included the spark plugs. It had the 2-piece spark plugs, and they were the only ones that could guarantee this was the set price, regardless if they broke. I don't think they had a price for if they broke. Whereas the mom and pop shops, they would charge each one that broke, they charged an additional $100. So I said, no, take it to the dealer, $1,200. That wasn't even going to just address the cam phaser issue, which that turned out to be the issue of that diesel mode that I talked about earlier. So I had that until 2015. So early 2015, at the dealership, literally dropping the truck off to have the tune-up done, and was waiting for my dad to pick me up. And salesman comes out, and they have it's a Rush Truck is the name of it. It's a dealer here in Orlando, and they primarily deal with commercial accounts. They don't really deal with Joe Blow citizens like me, but they do. I mean, it's a Ford dealer. And I'm walking in the parking lot, further lot of trucks, and they didn't really have a huge selection. And pretty much every vehicle they have is white. It's a commercial vehicle. Down here in Florida, everybody uses white for the sun and how hot it is and stuff. So I get looking, and that one was really piquing my interest. And the salesman comes out, and of course he goes through, hey, what are you looking for? I said, well, I really wasn't looking for anything, but I'm currently in an F-150. I said, if anything, I'd like to stay in an F-150, but it's got to be 4x4. He goes, well, shoot, I got a leftover model. It's a 2014, brand new. Somebody ordered it, and they didn't have a need for it, or the needs changed, so they didn't end up taking it, delivery of it, but it's here on the lot. So I don't see it anywhere. Oh yeah, it's over here. It's got a tag on there, because I think they had it, ready to go. Basically, is what the salesman said. So he walks me over to the truck, and sure enough, it had a sprayed-in bed liner, and it was actually a crew cab, so it had full 4 doors, and it was white. It was the STX Sport 4x4, so it had the blacked out grill, had blacked out steps, and I'm also going to throw a picture of that up here as well. Didn't have a tent job, and I ended up having a local shop, dependable tent shop, tinted it for me, 28% tint all the way around. That was a beautiful truck. It had stock radio, had a little nicer upgraded center console and cloth seats, and I was still mowing at the time, and so my issue was it was going to smell. You know, you're sweaty all day, you're working dirt and all that, and it was going to get nasty. So and then I started didn't have a backup camera, which I didn't really bother me too much, but when you're hooking up a trailer day in and day out like I was, it started to get old. And then I accidentally wrecked the trailer. I jackknifed the trailer right into the side of that truck, brand new. It didn't even have 10,000 miles on it, and I put a nice little dent into the actual bed. And then shortly after that, I traded that truck in on a 2012 Ford F-150 Lariat Ultimate Package. This thing was absolutely loaded. Sunroof, cooled seats, backup camera, navigation. It was an awesome truck, and I really enjoyed that truck actually. And then that's when the camper purchase happened. And I brought that camper home with that truck, and when I jumped out of that truck, you could feel the heat coming off of that truck. It was pretty intense. And I said, nope. I said, and I didn't like the way it drove. It didn't have tow mirrors. I said, I don't really like the way this truck's towing this camper. And it's only right around 10,000 pounds fully loaded. So I was like, yeah, let's do some research. And Big Truck, Big RV was probably one of the biggest helps with this channel. So he talked me into what I needed, and that pretty much decided upon a F-250 with the 6.2 liter V8. Didn't need a diesel. I drive diesels for work, and I didn't need the diesel, and so that's what I decided upon. And the first one was the red ones you guys will see. That was the original one I saw or had on my channel. So I got the 2014 F-250 6.2, and it only had, I want to say, run around 25,000 miles on it. So still under factory warranty. Still, it was an older man drove it, local actually, and he actually needed something bigger, so he got into an F-350. And that truck, that was a nice truck. The beautiful color, beautiful wheels. I got an off-road. My wife actually bought off-road tires for me. That was the Ridge Grapplers. They were just an all-around great truck. And that was in 2000. So that was after the purchase. So in March of 2016 is when I picked up that first F-250. Fast forward to August of 2019. That's when I picked up the black F-250 that you guys see today. That's been featured on my channel a few times. I never did do any heavy off-roading with that because I ended up getting a four-wheeler at that point. So that was in August of 2019. That truck actually had fairly good amount of issues. I had, I believe the AC went on that truck. It had, I believe the AC went on actually. I don't quite remember if that one was the AC or not. That could have been the 2014. The front wheel hub went out. The 4x4 front axle, I think I had a vacuum hose or something. The actuator, I think, went out. Let's see. The backup camera, I believe, on that truck went out. But it had several more issues than the 2014 ever did. So that was a little bit disappointing. So fast forward to about it's been just about 2 weeks ago, tomorrow actually. Long story shorter, we did have twin girls in 2022. They were born super premature. I really haven't talked about it on this channel. I may have referenced it on my Instagram, but twin girls, identical. Unfortunately, we did lose baby B due to hospital bacteria. And that was pretty rough. That was a rough experience. And for those of you who've ever spent an extended period of time in the NICU, I praise you guys. That's definitely an experience that, some good and a whole lot of bad, unfortunately for us. But So 85 days in the NICU. The truck basically sat at our house. I was still making payments on it. If you also don't know, the lawn business has been sold. I don't do that anymore. That's why you haven't been seeing any videos on that. So there will not be any videos of lawn care on my channel anymore. I'm done. Actually, it's been done for a couple of years now. After I got married, I wrapped that up and quit it. So I do apologize if you guys watch my channel for that content. And there'll be definitely some content other than mowing that's going to be on the channel because of my line of work and stuff. I still am exposed to that type of stuff, but as far as me doing it even part-time, it is no more. So for now, that leads into basically today's subject. So I said all that. I've had a truck. Most of the trucks would be paid off right now up until the 2015 F-250 that I had, the black one, the platinum. And so today, this is my ride. This is a 2012 Ford Fusion SEL. This isn't actually my car. This is my wife's car. And this is what I drive. This is it. After all these years of having a pickup and even having an SUV, now this is what I drive. So it's been a good car, and my wife's had it. She's paid this one off, actually. That's why we still kept this. We didn't sell this. The F-250 has been sold. So no more. There's no more truck on that channel for now, which kind of sucks. On Instagram, I had somebody reach out offering to supply seat covers for that truck. And I was actually in the midst. I just posted on Facebook Marketplace and decided that the truck needs to go. And the reason behind it is I need to get into property. We've got a family now. We're currently living with in-laws, and it's just that's okay. But it's time to move on. It's time that you have a family. You need to move on. So that's why, to say it sucks is definitely an understatement. I don't think that I enjoyed this, not having a truck. I still have the four-wheeler. I still have my mowing trailer, and I obviously still have the camper. It's not going to go anywhere right now. Like I said, it's got the leak issue, and I'm going to have to do some work. I'm out here at the storage lot, and as you guys can see, it's pretty tight. There's not going to be a whole lot of tearing apart here at this property or at this storage lot. So I've got to find somewhere to take this thing to even get it worked on. And once I do find that place, I'll probably go rent probably a U-Haul truck, pickup truck or something, or Enterprise pickup, take it to the place to be worked on. And then from there, we'll worry about how to haul it on camping trips, even if I have to rent something. But yeah, that's it. I'm without a truck after what is that, 16 17 years of driving. Only a couple of those years that I have an SUV, I've pretty much been in a truck. The only time I didn't have a truck was from 2008 to 2010. So just a couple of years there that I was not in a truck, but even then I had an SUV. So rocking the four-door sedan there. And I've got a pretty decent amount on the the sale of the truck. I didn't end up selling on Facebook. I ended up getting reached out by a local dealer. They offered me just a few grand less than my asking price from Facebook. And they stood with that deal, unlike the local dealer that tried to lowball me. They were about 12 grand less than what the actual selling price was. So I'm happy that that dealer came through and we were able to get that sold. So I have a little bit of chunk of change now. It's not enough to go out and buy another truck right this second, at least a nice one, or one off a lot. I am going to be looking at Facebook Marketplace or friends, family, to get into even like a Ford Ranger, just something to haul the little trailer around, just something that I can still maybe go up to Ocala, ride the four-wheeler, something to putt around, I need to go pick up some stuff from Home Depot, stuff like that. But so that's the story. And the biggest thing about that story is I technically could have several vehicles in my driveway. I could still have my 2007. I could still have my technically the 2014. I would still have the 2012 even had I kept any of those models. Those would have been paid off. And even the F-250, the red one, March would have been the last payment on that truck. So it just, if anything, that's what kind of gives me the heartburn, is that I could have had those, had any truck still and not had a payment at all. So keep it in mind if you're young. This is a young and dumb kind of mistake on my part. You know, if you're looking to get into property, that's the biggest thing, and that's my biggest thing here in Florida. It's really hard. I don't want anything less than 5 acres. To me, anything less is pointless. I'm not looking for just a 1 acre lot. Yeah, it's nice, but I'm looking for something that you can be able to even ride the four-wheeler on, do some hunting on the land, hunting your own land. And we actually had an opportunity last year, kind of just slipped right between our fingers, and somebody bought it just to put a freaking horse on. And that really rubbed me. That was a beautiful property. Impact fees were already paid. It had and it was a clean slate basically. We could have put our house or trailer, double wide, triple wide, or modular home on anywhere we wanted to. It was basically a blank slate with a nice chunk of woods in the back, and it just would have been a great opportunity to have my own basically hunting land, hunting paradise. It even had a pond on the property that I could have stocked and had a fountain stuff, aerator, and kept it stocked full of fish. Like I said, that one just fell right between the fingers, and I don't think that one's going to come back up for sale, and especially not for the price that they were asking for. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm without a truck. That's it. That's the basis of the story. And if you know anybody looking for or is looking to sell a Ford Ranger or an F-150, even older, I'm looking at older models. I try not to do anything in the 2004 to 2008 years for F-150s, just because I don't want to get back into that 5.4 issue. I'm kind of steering a little bit away from the 2003 to 2002, 2001 as well. I don't know, I'm not really impressed with it. I think the 1997 model is more so what I'm looking for, and older. I'm even looking for an OBS F-150 square body. So that's it. So I'm without a truck. So I hope you guys enjoyed this update. Basically, just want to do a quick rundown what's going on, what's happening with the channel. I'm still planning to make some content. Again, our emergency services, the emergency vehicles, the response videos, those are just fillers. And I've got tons of those because they're so easy to make, and they're always readily available, readily able to see, even though I'm hitting a dry spell right this second. You know, I still do that on the side, but that's not the main premise of this channel. I still want to be a multi-role channel, and RVs and trucks and ATVs and trailers and lawnmowers and weed eaters and tools and a lot of the manly stuff. That's the main premise of this channel. So I've even thought about creating a channel for this RV repair, but right this second I'm just not in a position to do it. You know, I've got to find a place to work on it even, and that's the big thing. So hope you guys like this content. Subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.